Hey everyone, welcome back to the beginner breakdown series for King of Fighters 14. This time we're going over Love Heart. If you've never seen an episode before, this series is to help low-level players or beginners out get a basic foundation for a new character or just to learn a character in general. That way you can get right into the game, start beating up your friends. Alright, it's been a little while. Let's see if I remember how to do this. We usually go over 4 normals first, I believe. So light punch, light kick, heavy punch, and heavy kick. So for light punch, first thing you want to note is that it does whiff on small crouchers in the game, like Love Heart, for example, Nakaruru, stuff like that, or characters like that. It is a mid, so you can be blocked both crouching or standing, and you can super and special cancel it. That was the wrong button. That was close light punch. There you go. So you can super and special cancel it. Far light punch, before I forget, is really close to even on block. I think it is even. Then far light kick is goes really far, as you see. It can whiff a lot on crouchers, like Love Heart herself, but it won't whiff on characters that are slightly taller, like say like Kyo. I guess he has like a taller crouching hitbox in this character, so it won't whiff on him. So you do have to be careful with who you're using it on. It is also a mid, so we can block both crouching or standing, and it's only a little bit negative on block. So overall, it's a pretty good poke. Just be careful on who it might whiff on if they're crouching. And because of its range, it's actually a pretty good max mode button to use. So somebody with something stupid, or you're just like whiff punishing, you need a quick button. If you're quick enough, you can do something like that. And of course, you want to cancel that, like into a button of some sort, or like a special move rather. So we got far heavy punch, this right here. It's a mid, so we block with crouching or standing. As you see, it has a lot of range. She moves forward on it, and it's a little bit negative on block, making it pretty difficult to punish. And it's super and special cancelable. That was the wrong button. There you go. So you can super cancel. You can special cancel it. You can super cancel it as well. Then for heavy kick, this button here, it's also a mid, so you can block both crouching or standing. It is pretty negative on block, but it does push back quite a distance, as you see right there. It will whiff a lot on pretty much all crouchers in the game, I believe, unless they're a really big-bodied character, like Daimon or the prisoner Chang Choi. I forgot which one's which. It's a pretty weak anti-air. It looks like you could be using it as an anti-air, but it's a little bit on the weak side, especially if the opponent's pressing a button. You have to space it like pretty much perfectly, and it loses a lot to good air buttons. So you probably don't rely on that as an anti-air. Let's go over close buttons next. Light punch, light kick, heavy punch, and heavy kick. So close light punch is a mid. You can be blocked with crouching or standing. You can super and special canceling into what you need. If you keep mashing A a couple times, you can slap the shit out of an opponent. Kind of amusing. And it's a little bit plus on block too. Standing or a close light kick, that's a low right there, and you can super and special cancel that into whatever you need. It's really close to even on block. Close heavy punch is a mid. It can be blocked both crouching and standing. You can super and special cancel it. It's a bit negative on block, but it does have some pushback on it, making it really specific to punish if you can't punish it. And then close heavy kick is also a mid, block crouching or standing. You can super or special cancel it. It's only slightly negative on block, and it also pushes back. It's really good. And from up close, Love Heart can combo her light punch and light kick together. It'll look like that, and that second hit does have to be blocked a low. And then you can super or special cancel that second hit, as I've just gone over. Let's go over crouching normals. Light punch, light kick, heavy punch, and heavy kick. Crouching light punch is a mid. You can block both crouching or standing. It is plus on block. You can chain them if you're right next to them. You can super and special cancel it. That doesn't combo, but it did special. It did special cancel. It has okay range. And then crouching light kick beats it in range, but it looks a little slower to me. It looks like it has a little bit more startup. It is a real low, however, but it is also negative. Unlike crouching light punch, you can't rapid cancel it into itself. So you'll have to go into a different button if you want a special super cancel, because you can't super or special cancel this as far as I know either. And if you hit it at max range, you can't combo into light punch. So you have to keep that in mind. You want to be a little bit closer if you're starting with crouching light kick. That way you can get a light punch, which is special cancelable and super cancelable. Crouching heavy punch, this really gross button. It goes super far, getting flashbacks of CVS2 Sagat crouching fierce. Super good. It is mid, it can be blocked both crouching or standing. It is negative on block, but it does push back a decent amount, so if you space it out correctly, like you can hit it right at the tip, it's pretty difficult to punish. You can super and special cancel it, It has the hit stun of a heavy button, right? So you can combo into specific things that you probably couldn't off of a light button. It's a solid whiff punish tool, so somebody whiffs something really dumb that has some decent recovery and you want to keep it simple, you could do something like that, for example. Or, you know, like maybe max mode cancel that. It probably hit a better button than that, that way you can get a combo. Something like that, and then, you know, cancel it. Their crouching heavy kick is a real low. It's a sweep, so it knocks them down. It's a bit negative on block, and it does push back. It's a little on the stubby side. You do have to just kind of space it correctly. And you can super and special cancel it if you need to. Let's go over jump buttons. Here's light punch. Look, it was off screen. Here's light punch, light kick, heavy punch, and heavy kick. So crouching light punch, it's a pretty good air to air. So if you got a good read on a jump in, you could use that if you wanted to. You can just like neutral jump and hit it like that and just kind of check them out of the air. You're not going to be really landing any jump ins off of it because it's all horizontal. So if they're crouching, that's going to whiff completely, unless they're maybe a huge body in this game, but even that, I don't think that's going to work. And then crouching light kick is your go-to cross up button if you need something to cross up. So yeah, it can cross up. You just have to space it correctly and time the button press right. And jumping heavy kick, you can also use an air to air. Pretty good for that as well. It's another pretty bad jumping button on crouchers because they can whiff on them, as you see right there. So if you're going to be jumping in, you use light kick to cross up. You can also use it as a regular jump in if you need to. And then jumping heavy punch is also a really good jump in. It has deceptively good range. It's pretty much where her like right hand is swinging basically, and a little bit further out even, like that. So that's really good, and you can use that as your all-around jump in tool, as well as like a short out button to kind of harass from a distance. Their jump blowback attack, which you can execute by hitting heavy punch and heavy kick in the air. This is pretty good. It has deceptively good vertical range, so it will hit crouchers. You don't have to worry about that. You can use it from hopping as well, and it will still hit crouchers. It's plus on block, just like all jumping blowback attacks in this game. You can definitely be using that. It's pretty good. You can use it as an air to air as well. Love Art has one command normal, and it's back and light kick together. This stomp. It is super cancelable. You can't special cancel it as far as I know, but you can if you buffer it and time it right. You can super cancel it. So it will look like that. It is a low, and you can also combo into it as well. You can't combo into it from her light attacks. There's just too much startup on it for that to work. So for example, that won't work, or crouching light punch into back light kick won't work. So you have to use something with a lot of hit stun, like your heavy buttons, and it will combo. So you can use that to extend your combos a little bit for some extra damage, and then you special cancel that into something. And it does have a lot of hit stun on it. Backlight kick also has an interesting property. It can hit opponents out of the ground in specific states. Depends on what kind of move it is. For example, if you sweep an opponent and they don't quick get up, yeah, if you're close enough, for example, in the corner, you can really easily hit them on the ground with that stomp. There are other more guaranteed instances where you can land that stomp. For example, after her flip kicks like this, it's a hard knockdown, so the opponent can't get up and you're right next to them, and then you can just time it a little bit and just stomp them afterwards, just for a little bit of extra damage. And next, her blowback attack, which is done by hitting heavy punch and heavy kick while you're on the ground. This right here is very good. It goes really far forward. It is only a little bit negative on block, and you can super and special cancel it. Pretty solid tool. If you wanted to as well, you could hit him with that weight just a little bit, and then do a super afterwards. Quickly go over throws. Here's forward throw, looks like the rock bottom, and that is a hard knockdown, leaves you right next to them. And then back throw is not a hard knockdown, and it tosses them pretty far forward across the screen. Let's go over special moves next. First one, she has this critical forward plus kick. Here's a light kick version of it. It goes about that far. Heavy kick version goes a little bit further. There's a little bit more startup as well. And then EX goes pretty far, and it's pretty quick. Each of them do more damage than the last, so the light kick version does the least amount of damage, EX does the most, heavy punch is right in the middle. You can combo into the light kick version of it from pretty much anything, even her light buttons, as long as you're within range for it to get there in time off the limited hit stun you have from that button, that light button that you use. It'll work. It is a hard knockdown. It leaves you right next to them, and you can land a stomp afterwards, which is done by hitting back and light kick. Heavy kick version of it, you can combo into it as well. It does more damage. You just have to combo into it from something with a lot of hit stun on it. And then the EX one, you can combo into from pretty much anything, just because it's really quick. It is also multiple hits. It does the most damage. The light kick version of it is only a little bit negative on block. Pretty difficult to punish. The heavy kick version of it is more punishable. In the EX version, same deal. You can also super cancel it on the last hit. You just want to cancel into the right super. Like, that won't work because they're technically grounded. So you have to use her sword super, which hits off the ground. And then Climax super will completely whiff as well. There's nothing tricky about any of them. They're all mid, so you can block both crouching or standing. And the EX version gives you the most combo potential afterwards, just because it bounces them off the ground like that. So if you combo into it, you can get more stuff afterwards. Maybe like EX DP, or DP into a super of some sort, something like that. Next special move she has is Cortical 4 plus Punch. Here's the light punch version of it. It goes about that far. Kind of quick startup compared to the heavy punch version, which has more startup, but it goes further. And then the EX one goes kind of quick, and it goes pretty far. Each one does more damage than the last, so the light punch version does the least amount of damage, EX does the most, heavy punch does somewhere in the middle. They're all pretty negative on block, so be careful when you're using these. If they're blocked, they're all really punishable. Because of the startup, they're pretty difficult to combo into. The only one that's really comboable is the EX one, because it is the quickest one. You can get it off of lights as long as you're quick enough. That didn't combo, but there you go, that comboed. You just have to be quick enough, and it's easier to combo into, obviously, from it. Something with more hit stun on it. So what can you use these really slow moves for? Well, if you pay a little close attention to what she's doing during the animation, like right there, let's say. So her hitbox is smaller during that, so it can low profile certain things. That is to say, it can go under them. And the most easy example is like a projectile, say like Mai's throwing fans out, or King's throwing out some venom strikes. You got a good read on it. You can time it correctly, and during like this, say like around this part of the animation, she can go under the projectile and then hit the opponent as they're recovering from the the projectile throw. And if you do land one of these, you can get some follow-ups afterwards. The easiest one is like landing a super afterwards, kind of like that. If you want to keep it simple, you could also just like time a blowback attack correctly, and you can't hit them as they're falling down for a little bit extra damage. You can also super cancel this hit. You want to cancel it right when it lands into the correct super, of course. Kind of something like that. Not really worth it. You don't get a lot of damage. You can get a Climax super off of it though, if you happen to read a bad projectile throw. You can go under it, land it, and cancel that into Climax super for some big chunk of damage. And then you can get a little bit more off of the EX version mid-screen, for example. Like, I believe that only works off the EX one, landing an uppercut like that. And there's nothing tricky about them. They're all mid, so they can be blocked both crouching or standing. Next special move she has is Cortical back and plus punch. Here's the light punch version of it, and goes really, really far. Here's a heavy punch version, has 2 hits. And the EX version is 3 hits. So each one does more damage than the last. The EX version does the most damage. Heavy punch is the second most. Light punch is the least amount of damage. They're a pretty solid combo ender. You can even use like the light punch version of it to poke if you wanted to. And it just, as you see, on hit or block, it pushes back quite a bit of distance. So even though it is negative on block, you're that far, and it's incredibly difficult to punish if you even can punish it. The heavy punch version, you can only combo into any of them from heavy buttons. There's just too much startup to do it from light attack buttons. And the same goes for the heavy punch version of it. So if they block all that, it is negative on block, but it does push back. So they can run in on you and start applying some pressure, but I'm not sure if they can punish it. You can definitely get away with just doing that at low level for sure if you're playing against other low level players. It is super cancelable, so it's a really good combo ender. You're doing your thing, you combo into that. You can wait until the second hit and super cancel it. into whatever super you want, Climax super as well. Makes it really easy, really easy. It does have a drawback though if you're playing against somebody who is in the know or like a better player. They can punish you for, you know, doing that block string. So give me a sec to set up the dummy. Kind of like that. So it's not airtight. So between the two slashes there is a gap. So somebody who's paying attention could mash like some sort of invincible reversal and hit you during it as well. But that's pretty difficult to time, and it can be risky if you mess up the timing right. And there's also one other more guaranteed option. Give me a sec. Kind of like that. It is pretty specific. You know, some characters can do something, probably have better options against that. You just have to be careful if the opponent is in the corner. That way, if they kind of guard cancel and roll backwards, they'll be really close to you because they're in the corner. They won't go that far. You have to be really careful with that if you're playing against a good player. And then EX1 does the most damage. It sends them kind of flying far away. Don't really get much off of it because it has really a long recovery on it. As you can probably tell, it has a ton of recovery on it. So it's pretty negative. And a unique thing that these moves have is that they can be projectiles. So that whole sword, that yellow sword that's out there, like if Mai's throwing a fan and you time it right, you can just hit the fan out of the air with that. Which makes this kind of interesting. So if you're right here and you know they're going to throw, like say Mai's going to throw a fan, she throws it out, you react correctly, you can blow through the projectile and hit her with the, you know, the swords. And maybe super cancel it if you're, you know, on point. And there's nothing particularly tricky about them. They're all mids. They can be blocked both crouching or standing. Last special move she has is forward, down, down, forward, and punch. This right here. So that's the angle of the light punch one. The heavy punch one goes a little bit further forward, and it's 2 hits. Does more damage. Light punch one does, you know, less damage. EX1 does the most damage. I don't believe any of the regular ones have any sort of invincibility on them. The light punch one might have a tiny bit. It's really hard to tell from the testing I did. But I can for sure say that the EX1 has invincibility on it. You can go through some things on it. You can use these as anti-airs. So you can use them as anti-airs if you need to, as long as you do them preemptively enough. You can trade with good buttons at the wrong distance. You can also use them as basic combo enders as well, and they can be super canceled as well. If I want to cancel something like that, that way it works. Nothing too tricky about them. They're just really of course, as you'd expect, they're pretty negative on block. They have a ton of recovery on them. So don't go whiffing them, and also don't go getting them blocked as well. Next, let's go over supers really quick. She has course go forward twice and then punch. Here's light punch. So if you hit heavy punch, it does change the speed. It goes quicker across the ground, so you can use that to kind of like beat out projectiles. You can also hit off the ground. Depending on certain situations, like say this, they're technically grounded, so that super works afterwards. So if there's a state where the opponent's on the ground, maybe they don't take a roll, you can get them afterwards like that. You just have to be quick enough. And there's the EX version of the move. It's 2 hits. The next one she has is scroll to go forward twice and then kick. This super right here. The button you press changes the angle of it. See, she's a little bit higher up during the heavy kick version of it. Then you have to keep that in mind if you're, say, like special canceling, or rather super canceling off of her uppercut. You want to super cancel into the higher one, that way you can hit them to the ground and get more damage. There's the EX one as well. And then last, her Climax super. It's half circle back twice, and then both punches. If you want to cancel a super into another super, you can really go in any direction you want. You can go that route. It's just get the cancel right when the blast hits, and of course you want to be close enough for it to work. If you're canceling that way, you want to cancel right at the end of it. You don't get as much damage for it if you go that route, however. You do want to probably wait though like that to get the most damage instead of advanced canceling it. If you're going to be climax canceling, you can go in either direction. If you're going to be canceling from the sword super, I believe that if you do it if you do the super point blank, it causes the climax super to whiff. for whatever reason. Yeah, but if you're just a little bit further away like this, it'll combo. And then if you're doing it from the kick super, you're just basically canceling when she lands. If you're canceling from the EX version of the sword super, you have to cancel from the first hit, I believe. And then the EX super, the EX version of the kick super, you're also canceling when it lands, when she lands on the ground. So there you go, pretty simple. Alright, here's some quick combos to get you started. So some simple stuff. If you wanted to do any, while you're up close, like say doing some heavy buttons, you can do uppercut. That's a simple one, right? And you can super cancel that uppercut. If you're quick enough, you can get that to work as well, and that's using heavy punch, uppercut. If you want to complicate it further, you can always throw in like back light kick from a heavy button. You just have to use the correct special move, that way it works. Such as that flip kick from her light attack buttons, like from up close. You can do flip kick like that. That'll work. You can go from her heavy buttons as well. And then, of course, if you land this flip kick, go for the stomp afterwards. From low, you can do something like that. You can also do that if you're quick enough from low. And of course, you want to use her amazing buttons to whiff punish stupid things like a standing light kick from a distance. Go into max mode, and also try to maybe use crouching heavy punch as well. That goes even further, and you can special cancel that and super cancel it as well. This stuff for some annoying block strings, especially if you're a low level player, you know how to deal with stuff like that. And then when it does hit, you know, you can super cancel it and stuff. You can be pretty annoying with that. Of course, always go back through like the special move section of this video. That way you can find out how to use each of the special moves and kind of like how you can convert them into more damage. Alright everyone, there is Love Heart complete. That's Team Another World done. Man, that was a long delay. There's a lot of stuff that kind of popped up, but I'll see if I can make sure the next one comes out a little quicker. Regardless, a quick time to show. If you found this episode useful or any of the other episodes useful, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Seeing more subscribers definitely is really nice. Regardless, that's enough chit chatting, shooting the breeze. Got member select really quick. So from here, let's see. I don't know where to go, I'll be honest. I think at this point I might jump around a little bit. And by that I mean, I don't know if I'll be doing complete teams anymore. I kind of want to do the whole cast at some point, even if it takes me like another 4 years. I kind of want to, since I've started it and I've gotten this far. But I'll give you a quick example, like say this team, Fatal Fury? I don't remember. I like Andy Bogart, right? I mean, who doesn't? Andy Bogart, whoa. I don't like Andy Bogart. That's where I'm going with this. So I like Terry Bogard. Who doesn't, right? And I definitely want to do a video on him. But I don't really like this. I don't really like this guy. I don't really like him. Sorry to you Andy Bogart fans. I'm not a big fan of him. So I don't really want to do a video on him too much, but I will eventually, but I don't want to feel like I have to make a video on it. I want to do it when I feel like it. Because the video might turn out shitty if I'm just going to do it because I feel like I have to do it, right? That wouldn't be too fair for somebody who's like trying to learn some basic stuff with them. I like Joe, he's cool. But anyway, so yeah, I will figure that out, and I guess you'll find out next video. If you have any suggestions on who you want to see, feel free to leave it in the comments. I'll probably be jumping around. Thanks for watching. Where's Love Heart? There she is. Thanks for watching Love Heart beginner breakdown video. Hope you learned something, and thanks for the patience. And I'll see you next one.